Welcome for our comparative Bible study. Our topic that we are going to discuss regarding the question of the apostles in Matthew chapter 24, verse 1 until the last verse. The signs before the coming of Christ, or the signs before the coming of the Son of Man. Now this is very necessary to answer this question regarding of his 12 apostles. And it was given information before, during when Christ told them regarding of his coming. Matthew chapter 24. We will start in verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came unto him, for shew him the building of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, Say ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. This is pertaining to the last days, when Christ gave an information in the last days, or regarding the sign before his come again. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall this thing be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? Now, there are three questions, and we need to answer these three questions. Not only two questions, but there are three. We will answer first. And what shall be the sign of thy coming? So this is regarding of what shall be the sign of thy coming, when shall this thing be, and of the end of the world. Then we will answer first regarding the signs before the coming of the Son of Man. Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. The first sign before the coming of the Son of Man, or reference to the coming of Christ, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. There are many claiming that they are Christ. Now let's go forward in verse 24. For there shall arise false Christ. So this is not the real Christ, but this is a false Christ before His coming. And this is the sign. And in verse 24, for there shall be arise false Christ and false prophets, not only claiming themselves that they are a Christ, but they are also a false prophet, came first before the coming of the Son of Man. Now, third signs, verse 6, chapter 24. And ye shall hear of wars, and numerous of wars. Say that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquake and diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hate of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Now, very obvious that before the coming of the Son of Man, or the coming of Christ, this is referring to the second coming. This is not referring to the caught up or rapture, because rapture, that's under of the grace dispensation. But in Matthew chapter 24, this is referring to the second coming of Christ mentioned before in the book of John chapter 14 verse 20. Now let's go in the book of John chapter 14 verse 20. Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again. Now, this is referring to the second coming of Christ. This is a supporting verse in Matthew chapter 24, verse 1 until 3. The question in verse 3 tell us, when shall this thing be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming? Now, the second question, and in the end of the world. Now, when or what will happen, or when will be happen the end of the world? Is this true? That there is the end of the world? Is there the end of the world? The answer is yes. Now let's go in the book of Job. Job chapter 14, verse 10. But man died and wasted away. Ye men grieve up, give it up the ghost, and where is he? So man lieth down and riseth not, till the heavens be no more. Very obvious that there is the end of the world. Now, next verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 30. 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. The question, is there the end of the world? The answer is yes. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Next verse. For additional, 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the work that are therein shall be burned up. Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven, a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Now let's go back in Matthew chapter 25, verse 3. Matthew chapter 24 rather. Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciple came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall this thing be? Okay? And what shall be the sign of the coming and the end of the world? Okay? When shall this thing be? Tell us, when shall this thing be? Okay. The second coming of Christ will happen after the 7 years Great Tribulation. But before that, the signs will happen first regarding of His second coming. But His second coming will happen after 7 years Great Tribulation. After that, there is resurrection will happen and judgment. And then will follow immediately the millennial kingdom. 1,000 years. After the 1,000 years, heavens and earth shall be dissolved. That's the end of the world. But the second coming of Christ, this is not the end of the world. The second coming of Christ, this is not the end of the world, because after His coming, immediately will follow 1,000 years, because Christ will reign on this earth 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, heavens and earth shall be dissolved. That's the end of the world. Now, the second coming, and in the end of the world, will happen after the grace dispensation. The 7 years great tribulation, the second coming of Christ, and the end of the world will happen after the grace dispensation, because the rapture or caught up will happen first, because the rapture or caught up, this is under of the grace dispensation, or this is the end of the grace dispensation. After that, immediately will follow 7 years great tribulation. After 7 years great tribulation, the Son of Man come. So this is referring of the second coming of Christ. For it was told before, according to the prophets, Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1 to 4. And this is the fulfillment, the second coming of Christ after 7 years great tribulation. And then 1,000 years, after 1,000 years, immediately heavens and earth shall be dissolved. This is the end of the world. Thank you for your listening and watching.